of basketball?
Well, I got asked to leave the varsity team. So, yes, I did play varsity basketball, but I got asked to leave.
And why did you get asked to leave?
Creative differences with the coach.
And what kind of creative differences?
He thought that I was probably a little bit better at football, and they were like, we don't want to risk you getting hurt and taking your time, so we need to get you out to run track and play football. So they said, probably the best thing for you.
DC ain't even make JVT. I love it.
I 100% did, and I was asked to leave. And, there's a lot of people out there that know why and that can stay. It's not something we need to dig up.
It was fighting was involved, if I'm not mistaken, correct? You beat somebody. Basically, you bullied somebody.
I was a lover, not a fighter, and I have the daughter to prove it, so...
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big B Daily. This is your man, Big B. What is happening? What is happening? Appreciate everybody being here today, man. What's going on? We are live. We got a good show, a good Monday. Good Monday to go over some stuff and talk to you guys about. I appreciate everybody being here today. As always, remember, we're live. If you're on whatever platform you're on, remember, subscribe, like, follow, all that good stuff. Keep tapping the screen as much as possible. We need at least 5,000 likes, 30 new follows on one platform. We appreciate you. Today, we've got the Wolves and the Pacers both winning game sevens, both underdogs. We're going to cover that today and what those games look like. Then we know what the conference finals are. The Celtics and the Pacers, the Timberwolves and the Mavs. We're going to go over that as well. And then will there be a new face to the NBA? And why I say that is because we're going to get a champion this year, the NBA, with a young star. Will that person be the new face of the NBA? We got all that and more. I appreciate everybody being here, man. Love you guys. Let's get into this. Again, as always, you guys know, if you like the show and you want to help support the show, there are a plethora of different ways that you can do that. Remember to click on the link inside and make sure that whatever you want to do, whether it's a super chat, whether it's a gift, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, whatever suits you best. We appreciate everything. Thank you, guys. The Goon Squad. You see, I got the Goon Squad shirt on today. So we appreciate you guys, man. Let's get into this. So first things first. Look, I don't know about you all. First of all, there were two upsets yesterday in Game 7. Now, you could say the Pacers wasn't that big of an upset, but I think it was. I don't think a lot of people thought the Pacers were going to go into Madison Square Garden. I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to go into Madison Square Garden and go win that game. I don't think anybody thought that. I thought the Knicks were going to pull this one out. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. First of all, 76% shooting in the first half. I don't know that anybody's going to overcome that. I just don't. And you can say whatever you want about the Knicks. 76%? If somebody's going to shoot that, you're not winning. You're just not winning. I mean, the Pacers made everything. They made everything. And it is what it is. Like I said, the Knicks had an opportunity, and I know some people are going to throw out, well, Jalen Brunson got hurt. That game was over before he got hurt. It was over. And I know we can talk about, well, the Knicks, they lost a bunch of guys. The Knicks won this basically 2 games in this series without having their roster. Now, if the Knicks have their roster, their full allotment of healthy players, do they win the series? Yeah, they do. But You can say the same thing about Philadelphia in the series before. So, unfortunately, injuries are part of sports. You don't get to do-overs. You don't get to go back. It is what it is. The Knicks had their chances. But you let a team shoot 76% against you, I don't care who's on your roster. You're not winning. You're just not going to win. And that's what happened yesterday in that first half. It was a complete blowout from the first quarter. I mean, the first quarter on, it was just destruction. The Knicks got it down to 8, but even when they got it to 8, did anybody think that game was going to be close? I mean, seriously. Did anybody think that game was going to be close? It's because I sure didn't. I just thought, yeah, the Knicks made a little run. The Pacers didn't make every shot. And then the Pacers just got back to shooting normal shooting, and the game was over. That was it. That was it. So, I feel for my man Houston. He's not going to be anywhere to be found today. He New York everything. He is New York everything. He's not going to be anywhere to be found today. Y'all remember when he came in here when New York won Game 5? He was in here loud, proud, and he should have been. He should have been. You won't be able to find him anywhere. I mean, you could put out an APB. He could be on the FBI's most wanted list, and you're not going to be able to find him today. Not today. I feel for my man. It was bad. Like I said, at home, they had all the stars out. First time they're going to be in the conference finals since what, 2000? And no, the Pacers said absolutely not. The Pacers said absolutely not. We're not doing this. So we're not doing this. So it is what it is, man. Halliburton was crushing. You're exactly right, my man, ex Capone. Halliburton is doing his thing. Halliburton did his thing. So, and that's exactly what happened. It got ugly, but I mean, look, you can't lose. I'm going to give the Knicks a little bit of grace. Look, you can't go back. You can't have do-overs. No excuses. But you can't expect to lose that many guys that the Knicks have lost and expect to win. Not in my opinion. You can't lose that many guys. So it was ugly. It got ugly quickly. But the Pacers did their thing. Don't take anything away from what the Pacers did. You can't take anything away from what the Pacers did. They did their thing. Halliburton came out, shot the lights out in the first half, and put everybody on notice. It looks like Halliburton's getting a little healthier. Remember when he got hurt and he didn't really look healthy? And it looks like he's starting to get the spring back. He looks like he's starting to get some things back. Feeling good. And if that's the case, I'm just telling people, they're going to be a problem in this next round. They're going to be a problem in the next round for the Celtics. But we will get to that. Next, the T-Wolves. Lord have mercy. I thought the game was over. I'll admit. I thought that the game was over. I thought the Nuggets had it in the bag. They were up 20 coming out. They were up 15 at the half. Within the first, 90 seconds? They were up 20. And I thought, oh, yeah, this is over. This is all over but the shouting. And here we go. Here they come, roaring back. And it was, what was more impressive to me is that it was done without Anthony Edwards having a great basketball game. He was 6 for 24. He wasn't out there. He didn't just dominate the game. Now, he did make some timely steals, made some good plays, but it wasn't him just, okay, I'm taking over the basketball game and y'all can't stop me. That's not what happened. What happened was the T-Wolves turned up the defense and they got after him defensively and said, there we go. I'll give them credit. somebody else who deserves a little bit of credit, and y'all know me, I have been on his case this entire series. Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert. First of all, he made a crazy shot, a couple of crazy shots that I'm like, how, what? But give the man credit. He, after getting bullied in the first half, which he got bullied in the first half, he did. He came out and said, hey, man, this is game 7. I'm tired of this. And he came out and played a pretty good game in the second half. Rudy played a pretty good game in the second half. You know, give the T-Wolves credit. They made Denver into jump shooters. They said, Jokic, fine. If you're going to beat us, it's going to be you by yourself. Nobody else. We're not going to let nobody else do nothing. Jamal Murray dominated the first half. He completely disappeared in the second half. Completely disappeared. You know, that first half was incredible. Second half, not so much. Kept turning the ball over in key moments. We've been praising Jamal Murray for how well he's played in the playoffs over his career. Well, if we're going to do that, here we are in a game 7. He didn't play well in the second half. He didn't play well. We can say that. We can say that. And it's okay to say. It is okay to say. So, and we talk about the Nuggets, their bench. Somebody saying their Nuggets bench was AWOL. It's been AWOL all series. They haven't done nothing. Michael Porter Jr., what did he play yesterday? Matter of fact, did Michael Porter Jr. even play in the series? I said this the other day, last week about Michael Porter Jr. I think finally all the stuff going on with his family finally took his toll. I think it finally took its toll on Michael Porter Jr. because he's a better player than what we saw. Now, don't get me wrong, Minnesota locked him up, but I think that finally the toll of what's going on with his 3 brothers and the nonsense that they are doing finally took its toll. Look, you can be a professional all you want. You can be locked in all you want. But I think, sooner or later, some of this stuff is going to have a personal effect on you. You got 3 of your brothers. One goes to prison for killing somebody drunk. Another one throws his entire career away gambling over petty money compared to the money that you make and the money that he's making. And then another brother, the week after all of that happens, goes to jail for a DUI. At some point, that's got to take an effect on you. I don't care how mentally tough you are. I don't care how mentally tough. But the bottom line is that he didn't show up. KCP didn't show up. It was ugly. It was just ugly. And give Minnesota all the credit. They fought back. They kept Denver. What did Denver have? 39 points in the second half? Yeah. 39 points in the second half. Minnesota just decided we're not going to lose this game. Give them credit. Give them credit. Good point about Jokic can't do it by himself. Yeah, Murray, like I said, Murray played well in the first half. But he didn't do it in the second half. And costly turnovers that led to open dunks. But we'll see. Let me ask you guys this question. Do we think Denver is going to stay on the perch? Or has people figured out Denver? Or was this just a case of, hey, Minnesota's better than Denver, 7-game series showed out? Do we think Denver's going to stay up there? I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question. What I will say is trends tend to work themselves out. I didn't know this stat until I heard it last night. The last 5 years, now it's the last 6 years, the NBA champion hasn't made it past the second round the next season. I did not know that. I mean, I just guess maybe I never paid attention to it. But now the last 6 years, including this year, The NBA champion from the previous year did not make it past the second round of the playoffs the following season. To me, that's crazy. But that's what the NBA wants, and I think that's what fans want. We like parity. And if you like parity, this is parity. So good for them. Good for them. So, but yeah, it was the Nuggets they couldn't put it together in the second half. They kept taking jump shots and kept missing them. And if you guys were like me, you kept saying, why don't y'all drive the ball to the basket and try to draw a foul? Why do you keep taking these jump shots that you keep missing? Hey, do something different. Drive the ball. Get to the line. Do something. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And that three-man rotation of big men used all their fouls. Rudy ended up fouling out. Cat had 5. Naz Reid. How good was he in the fourth quarter? How good was he in the fourth quarter? Again, it's not like Minnesota said, hey, Ant-Man, go bring us home. That's not what happened. He did not have it going. I mean, he had a horrible shooting night. 6 for 24. It was terrible. But Naz Reid came through. Karl Anthony Towns came through. Rudy Gobert came through. Just a lot of guys came through for the Timberwolves. Is basically what's happened all year. I like what Anthony Edwards said after the game. All this losing. We're done with all this losing. We're done with it. I like it. I like it. And we asked this question last week, and we're going to get to it here later on in the show. Can you be the face of the NBA from Minnesota? We're going to see. I got a feeling this is going to be a test. That is going to be a test of whether you can or you can't be. So we will find out. We will absolutely find out. But I love the simple fact that Minnesota was able to go on the road in a game 7 and win when your superstar has a bad game. And let's just call it what it is. You go 6 for 24. I know you do other stuff, but that's a bad game. And not to mention that, hell, their coach can't even coach. The coach has got a torn patella tendon. He can't even stand up on the sidelines. He got an assistant doing the coaching. He's sitting behind the bench. Maybe it's a team of destiny. Who knows, man? You got all that going against you on the road against the defending champions who's got the league MVP. Your superstar is having an awful game. Your coach on the sideline behind the bench can't coach because his knee is blown out. And yet you still persevere. Maybe it's a team of destiny. I don't know, people. I don't know. But we sure will see. Hey, everybody, just as a reminder, Big B Daily, 9 a.m. Central Time. If you are on a certain platform that I happen to be looking directly at, do yourself a favor. Click on the link in my bio, the live link inside my bio, and come on over. You will get a live link to a place where, number one, it doesn't freeze up on you and it doesn't kick me out. So do yourself a favor if you want to continue to keep watching without any of the interruptions. Just first off, give me a follow. Click on the live link. Come on over. We appreciate it. Great game. 2 game 7s. Pacers go on the road, shoot the lights out, and win. Great. I mean, just in the first half, it was incredible. First half is incredible. You look at it, 67% for the game. The first half, shooting 76%. I mean, you think about that. The Pacers go on the road and shoot 67% in a game 7 to go win. Crazy. That's crazy. Good for them. Good for the Pacers. Good for the T-Wolves. They survived game 7s. They are moving on. And speaking of moving on, we're going to move on as well. So we got the conference finals. Those are set. Celtics versus the Pacers. T-Wolves versus the Mavs. First off, let's talk about the Mavs. That game 6 on Saturday. I thought, again, they come back not playing well, not shooting well. Luka melted down in the first half of that game. Oklahoma City, they go up. They're up, what was it, 15 at the half? They're up 7. I mean, again, and they're cruising. They are cruising. Mavs come back. Then even late in the fourth, Oklahoma City, with 5 minutes to go, had a 9-point lead. Mavs come back again. PJ Washington didn't do anything. I think he only made 2 shots. He couldn't do nothing. Comes up with 2 clutch threes. Luka's playing clutch. Kyrie in the second half. Lord have mercy. For somebody who hadn't really done much in this series, he just said, okay, now is the time. Now is the time. It was bad. It was bad. So, but we'll see. I like what the Mavs did. I do like what the Mavs did. So, yeah. The Mavs are good. The Mavs, they played good. I'm going to be interesting to see. I know my man Pat Cockrell's upset today. I get it. Look, we talked about it, though, Pat. We talked about the inexperience of OKC shining through, and it was super apparent on the last play. You cannot make that foul. You just can't. You can't. You're going by. You contested the shot. That's all he needed to do, is to let PJ Washington know that he was there. Let him make or miss the shot, like he said in the post-game press conference. SGA, outstanding player, first-team All-NBA this year without question. She should be. But he made a dumb mistake, and it was a foul. There's people out there saying, oh, he touched the ball. I'm like, man, but the guy, he hit his arm. He almost pulled his left arm off the ball before he shot it. It was a foul. It was clearly a foul. But you can't make that mistake. And inexperience. I think a more experienced player in that situation knows all I have to do is contest and let him know that I'm there. I don't have to try to block his shot. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I picked Dallas in 6 to begin with. I'll say I was correct. But it was a dogfight. Lord have mercy. Great series. Great series. So, great series. But I think everybody, my man Pat Cockrell will agree, I think the inexperience at the end is what got OKC. You're up. You can't give up those leads. They took a couple of bad shots when the Mavs were making that late run. Couple of bad shots. Even though SGA kept keeping them in it. Even when Dallas got that 5-point lead, SGA said, no, we're not going nowhere. And even then, they fought back and had the lead. They had the lead. So, but Mavs win. I like the series with the Mavs and the Wolves. I'll be honest, though, Mavs fans, you do not match up well. You do not match up well with the Timberwolves. No, this is a bad matchup for you. This is a bad matchup for you. Because with Rudy, and if Cat decides to play like a man and doesn't just stand around and shoot 3-pointers the whole game, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. But if Karl Anthony Towns plays like he did yesterday, the Mavs are going to be in trouble. They don't have anybody to guard him and Rudy. Not that you necessarily have to have this defensive stopper on Rudy, but you got to have somebody. You got to have somebody. You can't just ignore him. Like the Nuggets tried to ignore him yesterday, and he exploited it. So we'll see what happens in this coming up series. I don't like it for the matter of fact, if I have to pick it right now, I would say Minnesota in 6, maybe 5. Just a bad matchup for Dallas. But you never know. You never know. And then the Pacers and the Celtics. Look, it's a long time for the Celtics not to have played. They're going to be off for a week. Does that matter? Because is it trying to get Porzingis back? Now, I heard he's going to be out the first 2 games of the series and then try to bring him back. You know, I don't think, and a lot of people have said this, so it sounds like I'm piggybacking off of it, but that's fine. I don't think the Celtics can win an NBA title without Porzingis. Can they beat the Pacers without Porzingis? Well, Jason Tatum's going to have to play better. I know that. If Jason Tatum continues to play the way that he's been playing in these playoffs, they're not going to beat the Pacers. But I'm excited to see this series. You know, Derek White or Drew Holiday both guarding Tyrese Halliburton and giving him fits. Is that going to work? Do they have enough defense to stop the Celtics? That's going to be the key. Because, you know, we love the Pacers offense, but they don't play any defense. They don't play any defense. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I do like the matchup. I like the matchup better. If Porzingis was there, I don't think this would be much of a series. But with him not being there or with him actually even being compromised, you know, I think the series is going to go 6. Number one, because you know that the Celtics are going to give the Pacers game 2. That's going to happen. We do know that, right? Game 1, Boston will win, probably pretty handily. Game 2, the Pacers will win, because that's just what Boston does. They are going to give you a game. They're going to give you a game. That's just what they do. I don't think they're going to go back to Indianapolis and win both games. I think they might win one and then come back to Boston and win game 5 and then go on the road and win game 6 and close it out. So that's what I'm thinking will happen in this series. But I think it's going to be a great series, though. I do. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see the type of defense that Derek White and Drew Holiday put on. It looks like a now healthy Tyrese Halliburton. It looks like he's healthy now. And if he's healthy, that gives the Pacers an even better shot. Person that I think could be really big in this series is Evan Turner. Even with Porzingis there, I don't think that the Celtics have anybody to guard Evan Turner. So we're going to find out what kind of player Evan Turner can be. So we're going to find out what it could be. What kind of player he can be. You know, is Jaylen Brown, what's he going to do? Is he going to step up and continue to lead? Is Jason Tatum going to turn into the MVP candidate that a lot of people said that he was? We'll find out. This is the time. If Jason Tatum wants to be considered the best player or one of the best players in the league, and when I mean that, I'm talking about top 5, it's time to turn it up. It's time to turn it up now. Right now. Don't wait and try to feel out the series. No. From game 1, Jason Tatum, put your foot down. It's just that time. It's just that time. My man Pat Cockrell thinks that the Denver or the Cleveland series would have been closer if Donovan Mitchell had been healthy. You might be right. You might be right. So, and you're definitely right about Tatum. You're definitely right about Tatum. Tatum hasn't proven he can take over when it matters. No, not this series. And I think it's time for him to do that. I think the time is now for him to do that. All the BS, all the stuff, it's just time for him to take over the game. It really is. It's time for him to take over the game. Like I said, I like Tatum. I think Tatum is a great basketball player. He hasn't played up to his capabilities in this playoffs. I think it's time for him to do that. But we'll see. We will see. TJ McConnell, I think he was one of the reasons, obviously one of the reasons, but a major reason why the Pacers moved on. Will he be effective in this series? I don't know how effective he's going to be because the Knicks guards don't play defense. The Celtics guards, they do. So that's going to be the problem. Like Brunson can't guard anybody in this chat room. And he doesn't even try. But the Celtics guards, they will guard you. So can he be effective? I'm not sure. Is he big enough to give Brown or Tatum problems? Or is he just going to be on Holiday and White and give them issues? We'll see, but they're a lot bigger than him. They said that talked about how he gave Brunson problems. Brunson's short. Those Celtics guards are not short. None of them are. So we'll see what happens there. I'm excited for the series, though. I'm excited for the series. So, like I said, I like Minnesota. I like Minnesota a little more handily than I like the Celtics, but I like them both. I like them both to win and to meet a Minnesota and a Celtics finals. But I'm excited to see it get started. Very excited to see it get started. That'll start tomorrow night. Tuesday night, we get back to this. Mavs versus T-Wolves. So let's move on. And before we move on, just as a reminder to everybody, we Big B Daily, again, 9 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. We appreciate you guys showing up and showing out like you always do, the Goon Squad. I got my Goon Squad shirt on today. Sooner than later, we're still working on the background of getting all this stuff available so everybody can get a Goon Squad shirt. I've got a few, and we may do a giveaway near the end of the week. We might do some sort of a giveaway of a Goon Squad shirt at the end of the week. Stay tuned for that. So stay tuned. Moving on. So with Denver leaving and getting eliminated yesterday, obviously we have the Celtics, Pacers, Wolves, and Mavs. Somebody is going to win the NBA title, and one of those teams is going to have a young star on it. I mean, is it Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, Luka, Ant-Man? One of those is going to win this NBA title, and one of those is going to be a young superstar. Is that person going to be the new face of the league? And do we want that? Do we want a new face of the league? Number one, I'm going to raise my hand and say yes. I personally want a new face. That has nothing to do with I don't like LeBron. Y'all know I'm a LeBron fan. It doesn't mean I don't like KD. Doesn't mean I don't like Curry. I love all those guys. Y'all know me. I love basketball. I love good basketball. However, I think it would be fresh. There's a lot of basketball fatigue. There's a lot of LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. There's a lot of that fatigue out there. I think it would be good for young fans if there was a new face to the league. I don't disagree. I like that aspect of it. I think it's okay. I think it's okay that we have a new face. And I think if there's a new champion, I think that will be. I think now it's going to be tougher if it's Tyrese Halliburton. Because, look, let's just face it. It's Indianapolis. That's tough to be the face of the league in Indianapolis. Not as difficult, though, as being from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's tough there to be the face of the league. Not as tough in Boston, obviously not hard at all, and definitely not as tough being in Dallas. DFW is the fourth largest metropolitan city in the country. So not as difficult there. But we're going to see. We are definitely going to see is what can happen, what can be done with a new face of this league. Will it be the new face of the league? Let me just pose that question to you guys. Do you think that it's going to be there will be a new face, whoever the champion is? Do we believe that they will take over? So, I kind of like these playoffs right now the way that they are. I mean, look, Yeah. My man Ruben, I think now it's the best time. I'm not seeing them, Braun, Curry, KD, going on for longer than 3 years. By that time, Ant, Tatum, etc. will be in their prime. I agree. I think this is the perfect time for a changing of the guard. I think it's the perfect time for a changing of the guard in the NBA for there to be a new face of this league. I think it's a great time for that. And again, this is not a diss to LeBron or Curry or KD. This is not a diss to them. All this is saying, hey, the league is changing. You don't have to have a super team to win. We've seen that. So all you aging stars that are trying to put your teams together, you don't have to do that anymore. There's something to be said for building. Maybe you got to struggle for a couple of years. Maybe your team's got to struggle. But once you get it figured out, you don't have to have just this super team. You can build the super team through the draft, but it doesn't have to be 3 superstars on the same team. For instance, let's look at Boston. While we could say that Jason Tatum, I don't know if Jason Tatum's a superstar or not, but some people, for argument's sake, let's just say that he is. We know that Jaylen Brown isn't. And they don't have any other superstars on their team. They have really good players, maybe even stars, but no superstars. You look at Minnesota, same thing. Now, you could say that Dallas has 2 superstars. You could say they do. And because Kyrie definitely is, and so is Luka. So, yeah. But you look at the rest of their team, they're built and put together the right way. They complement them. So it's working. It's working. You know, I like the way that how they're doing things these days. So, but we'll see. I definitely like what Ruben has to say about it. It's time. It is definitely time. My man, Matt Hasselbring, since KD is washed, it's time for the younger guys to step up. I think everybody that's been in this chat remembers the day that the guy said that KD was washed. Lord have mercy. And I have never had a topic where everybody in here was against one person. I've never had one. I remember that day. That was hilarious. The guy trying to say that KD was washed. Well, hold on. He's averaging 27 points a game, shooting over 52% from the field. Washed. Lord have mercy. One of the dumber statements that I think I've ever heard anybody say. Washed. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, I think a new face. Like I said, it's tougher being from Indianapolis, playing out of Indianapolis. It's tougher in Minnesota. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see what will actually happen with it, though. I think Ant-Man has the personality. It wouldn't matter where he's at. I think he's got the personality to be the new face. Now, a little rough around the edges. Going to have to get somebody to speak to him a little bit. But I think we like rough around the edges somewhat. I think we like that. We can deal with it. So I think we love it. So I like that aspect of it. I really do. I like that aspect of it. Tyrese Halliburton, we'll see. He was talking trash to the New York Knicks fans yesterday after he was just knocking down shot after shot. And I know Luka's got the personality, but again, he's playing in Dallas. It's easier in Dallas than it is from Minneapolis or Indianapolis. It's going to be easier to be the face of the league. It's going to be easier. And definitely in Boston, but we'll see. Maybe Jason Tatum's not built for that. Did we ever think that? Do you ever think, hey, maybe Jason Tatum's just not built to be the face of the league? Because he's had his opportunities. Lord have mercy. Not to mention, did y'all hear what Draymond Green had to say about the Celtics? y'all know me, I'm the president of the Draymond Green hater committee, but he was right. Nobody cares that the Celtics made it to the conference finals outside of Boston Celtics fans. And I would even say half of the Celtics fans, they don't care either. They're tired of going to the conference finals and losing. They want to see a championship. They were the best team this year. So we'll see. But yeah, new faces of the league. I like it. I definitely like it. I like David Gonzalez. Half the league would love to have a washed player like that. I don't even think half the league would. I think the whole league, every team would love to have, hey, man, I got this guy on my team, man. He's washed. He's averaging 27, shooting over 52%. But he can't play anymore. Well, I mean, we got to pay him, so we'll keep putting him out there. But yeah, he's washed. He's washed. Lord have mercy. People will say anything. So people will say anything. My man Austin thinks you can do it. I like that approach, Austin. When he says Boston and Dallas are big markets, Indiana is a basketball state, and Minneapolis is big enough city. Plenty of superstar opportunity. I tend to agree. Like I said, it'll be tougher in Minneapolis. That's where the toughest part's going to be. People say, well, Indiana is a smaller state. It is, but it's basketball crazy. So it's basketball crazy. So it's not as difficult to be a superstar if you are the big guy man on campus in Indianapolis. For instance, if Michael Jordan didn't exist and the Pacers were going to finals instead of kept getting beat by the Bulls, Reggie Miller would have been the face of the NBA. He absolutely would have. Absolutely. Not to mention he was breaking hearts in New York. But if he was going to the finals, yeah, absolutely. But there was Michael Jordan around. So there's that. There's that. But I agree. Ant, here's a good question or a good statement. Ant is the easiest to make the face with his personality. Would nice to have a small market guy be the face. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I like Ant-Man. I like his personality. I like his bravado. Little rough around the edges, but I think we like a little rough around the edges sometimes. I think we like that. I don't know that we can't live with that. 20 years ago? No. If you were rough around the edges, maybe even 10 years ago, people would have said, I'm turned off by that. I don't like that. And while you still get some people that say that, for the most part, people are like, hey, just be you, and we'll adapt to it. Just be you, and we still like you for being you. There's more people in this world that can accept people for who they are now than what they did 10 years ago. Regardless of what your circumstances are or what you like, this, that, or the other, there's more people now that will just, hey, man, yeah, we get it. He's a little rough around the edges, but I like that. Just go be yourself, and we can deal with it. So we can deal with it. So who will it be? Number one, who do you want it to be? I guess that's a better question. Who do you want it to be? Me personally, and I am not a Timberwolves fan, not even in the slightest. I'm an Ant-Man fan. I would love if Anthony Edwards took the mantle. I would love if he took the mantle. Number one, for just what I said, he still makes some people uncomfortable because he's a little rough around the edges. I like that. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm the face. Be uncomfortable. Matter of fact, you better start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I like that. Tyrese Halliburton, Luka, Jason Tatum. Yeah, man. Let's see some new blood come up. We haven't had any new blood come around in a long time that's been sustainable. The older guys are getting older. Their teams aren't as good. People talk about the Lakers. The Lakers just didn't have a great basketball team. I think they were okay, but the Nuggets were better than them. Minnesota, better than them. Phoenix. Minnesota is just better than them. There's a lot of teams that were better than Phoenix. Just better than their teams. I like the new blood is coming up. I like it. The Mavericks, same thing. I like what the Mavericks can do too. I would like this series better if Kleba wasn't hurt and hadn't destroyed his shoulder and out for the season. But I still like the Mavs. I like the Mavs, and I like the Pacers. I think we're in for a really good conference final. Not that garbage we got last year between the Nuggets and the Lakers. And although all the games were fairly close, there weren't really any blowouts, but the Lakers couldn't win one. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all can't win one? No, couldn't do it. Not even the game when LeBron went berserk last year and scored 40. The Lakers still couldn't figure out a way to win. I don't think that's going to happen this year in the conference finals on either side. I think we're going to be in for really good conference finals. So, but let's move on, man. Open mic, Q&A. What questions do you have about anything? NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball. We got into a good discussion about college football on Friday. We got into a good discussion. I think y'all are starved for it as much as I am, people. I think basketball fatigue is starting to set in. I love the NBA. I love it. The season is too long. It started in October. It's the middle of May, and we're still going. And we're going to be going for another month. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. It is a lot. So that's my point. We're starting to get into a little bit of basketball fatigue. What questions do you have? Let's pull them up. My man, David Gonzalez, what do you think of the New York Giants throwback uniforms to celebrate their 100-year anniversary? I think they are some of the most hideous uniforms that I've ever seen in my life. We talked about that last week. They are horrible. I would like it even if they threw a pair of blue pants or maybe even a pair of red pants. I could live with that. But those tan pants, come on, man. Come on, what are we doing? Oh, and I don't care that that's what they looked like back in those days. They were ugly back then, and they're ugly now. Terrible decision. I just don't get it. So, but it is what it is. My man Ruben says, I really wish they would switch to the 5-game series format and save conference finals and finals to 7 games. You know what that's about, Ruben. It's money. It used to be that way. But money gets involved, and when money gets involved, heck, the first round, it was the first 2 out of 3. The second round, it was 3 out of 5. And then it wasn't until you got to the conference finals, was it final 7 or best out of 7? So, but now the money and that you can drag some of these things out, that mean it is what it is. What are you going to do? But I agree with you, Ruben. It doesn't have to be that long. It just doesn't. So, why do you hate everything New York? Steelers got the same pants. The Steelers have gold pants. So, I have no idea what in the world. Houston, first of all, people, Houston actually made it here today. We didn't think we were going to be able to find him anywhere after that debacle of what the Knicks did yesterday. We didn't think we'd find him, but he came. He showed up, and we love him for it. But nobody hates everything New York just because we tell the truth on Big B Daily. The Goon Squad tells the truth. Those uniforms are ugly. End of story. And any throwback, Steelers, Lions, Bear, any throwback team, Packers, that puts on brown pants, they're ugly. New York just has to be the latest one. They're ugly. End of story. Throw some blue pants on, man, and they would look good, actually. Because I don't mind the jersey. I don't mind the jersey. A little weird, but okay, we like weird sometimes. But you throw brown pants on there, and it turns them into absolute dog. You will. I'll let you guys decide. But I'll say it. This is YouTube. Dog shit. That's what it turns them into. And nobody wants to see that. Pat Cockrell. Hey, man, the Steelers' Bumblebee uniforms are some of the most hideous things that I've ever seen in my life. Hey, I'm right there with you. Those things are disgusting. Just disgusting. So I can admit it. They look bad, but the question was posed, what do you think about the Giants? Those look bad. They're disgusting. Sorry. Anybody that's wearing brown pants on their uniforms, that tan brown pant, they're ugly. Period. End of story. So, I do not collect sports cards, Mr. Capone. So, my man Wakan says, will Rudy play like the defensive player of the year next series? Yeah, he will, because they don't have anybody to challenge him in Dallas. So they don't have anybody to play like Jokic was playing in Dallas. So, yeah, he will. He absolutely will. Follow-up question. Which of today's uniforms will stand the test of time and still look classy in 100 years? None of them. None of the uniforms that we see right now are going to look good 100 years from now because everybody's taste will be different. Number one, I'll be surprised if the colors for these teams don't change in 100 years. But styles and everything, nothing lasts that long. There's nothing that stands the test of time that still looks good. So it won't. It won't. So, Big B, who are your way too early conference champions for the Big 12, Big 10, SEC, and ACC? That's a good question. Very good question. Here's what I would say. In the Big 12, I'm going to say Utah. Now, I do a show called the Big 12 Insiders that you guys need to, if you're not already signed up for, please make sure you go to that at Big 12 Insiders on YouTube, 24/7 Sports. Go make sure you subscribe to that. I do that show Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time. I'd like Utah right now. I think Utah's the winner. In the Big 10, Ohio State. I think this is a make or break year for Ryan Day. They got all the talent. They got a ton of people in the transfer portal. I think it's now or never for Ryan Day. If they don't at least get to the national championship game and win the Big 10, I think he's going to get fired. I think they're going to bring somebody else in. I think they got to win the Big 10. And if they win the Big 10 and beat Michigan, even if they don't win a national title, I think he can save his job. He loses to Michigan again, and they don't win the Big 10, Ryan Day will be fired before bowl season. Sorry. It's just the way Ohio State works. It's just the way they work. SEC. Give me Georgia. I think Georgia's mad about last year. They took Alabama too lightly. Didn't play their A game. Now, Alabama was okay. Don't get me wrong. They're a good team. But I think Georgia feels like they let an opportunity get away to three-peat. I feel like they let that opportunity slip past them. I think they win the SEC. And then the ACC is up for grabs. I know a lot of people are saying Florida State and Clemson. It's up for grabs. I think those are the top two. But if you saw Louisville, yes, sir. If you saw them win it, I wouldn't be surprised. If you saw North Carolina or North Carolina State, I wouldn't be surprised if a sleeper team that nobody's talking about won the ACC. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. But that's who I like early right now. So, Let's see. What else do we got here? Can both Dallas Stars and Mavs win to achieve the trifecta for the city since the Rangers won the World Series already? Excluding the Cowboys, of course. I mean, that would be cool for Dallas if the Stars and the Mavs ended up winning the title. How bad would Cowboys fans feel knowing that there's no chance that the Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl? No chance. But you got the Rangers as world champions, the Dallas Stars being world champions, and the Mavs being world champions. I think that would be awesome. And it would allow me to put that knife in a little bit deeper into those Cowboy fans, saying, hey, the city is waiting on you to win a title because everybody else did, but you ain't going to do it. I would love it. I would love it. It would give me another chance to go to the Star, make a little short, make a little video, see what's going on at the Star. Well, Can, how do you feel about the Steelers' schedule this year? I think it's brutal. I think they got it wrong. I think the Steelers have the most difficult schedule in the league. It is absolutely insane, especially the last 8 games are just brutal. I don't know that I've ever seen, and this is not being a Steelers homer, I don't know that I've seen a more difficult ending of a schedule that I see what the Steelers have ever since I've been paying attention to NFL football. I don't think I've seen it ever. I mean, they play the Ravens, the Browns, the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens again. Oh, then you get the Eagles. Oh, then you get the Chiefs. Oh, then you get the Bengals. That's to end their season. Lord have mercy. It's brutal. But, hey, if you're going to win, you got to beat those teams. So it is what it is. But, yeah, the schedule is tough. That schedule is tough. So I think Utah gets humbled personally, talking about the Big 12. I mean, they might. Utah is coming in with a chip on their shoulder, acting like they're better than the Big 12. That's the problem with Utah. They act like they're better than the Big 12. I don't know why they're acting like that. I mean, if the Big 10 wanted you, you'd be there. They didn't want you. The Big 12 saved you because they didn't have to take you. They saved you. And now you act like you're better than them. I think that's part of the problem. But we'll see. A lot of people are rooting against Utah, and Utah fans feel like it's them against the world. Well, you created that. I think Utah fans will settle in, though. I think they'll settle in. So, let's see here. Well, the Celtics haven't won the playoffs. Or I take that back, not the Celtics. The Steelers haven't made the playoffs every year. This would be a question, David Gonzalez, is this year they have a losing record? Because they haven't made the playoffs every year. They just haven't had a losing record in 17 years under Mike Tomlin. And I've already made my schedule prediction. I think the floor, and look, 17 years is a lot of years for proof. And I just think, the floor is 9 wins. They're still going to be over 500. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I don't think there's a way that they don't at least get to 9 wins. Because there's an opportunity, if you look at the Steelers' schedule, they could start the year 5-0, 6-0. I mean, that can happen. That can happen. Now, will it? It's not probable, but it can. It absolutely can. So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Last one I think we got here. Big 12, top to bottom as a league, is better than the Pac-12. Yeah, of course it was. Not last year, though. I'll give the Pac-12 last year its credit. It was good. And Oregon and occasionally USC made some noise, but to act like the entirety of the old Pac-12 was leaps and bounds better is lunacy. No, it wasn't. The Pac-12 was not better in football than the Big 12. It wasn't. Last year, it was. I'll give it last year. But in its entirety, it wasn't. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I mean, there was no debate about that. Which, again, is why Big 12 fans are like, Utah, why are you acting like you're God's gift to football? Your conference wasn't as good as this conference. So, oh well. We'll figure it out. Everybody will figure it out. Anyway, as I was saying before, thank everybody for showing up and showing out. We're going to shut this one down for today. We appreciate everybody being here. Again, Monday through Friday, Big B Daily, live. Anybody, again, I appreciate you guys showing up. You want to help support the show, please click on the link in the bio. There's several different ways that you can do that. More importantly, remember to like, follow, share, and hit the notification bell. Until tomorrow, we will see you guys. Aloha.